Once the virtual environment setup has been completed, still using VMware ESXi as example, we proceed with the network configuration of the interface in trunk mode. By accessing the VMware Management interface, select the Configure Management Network option from the menu on the left. Another screen will then open, and we will select the VLAN option. Now, complete the configuration by setting the VLAN ID value to 4095, which will allow access to all VLAN. At this point, save the screen by clicking OK. Let's start this demo with the installation of Endian Virtual for virtual environments such as VMware ESXi and Proxmox, using VMware ESXi8 as an example. In this part of the video, we will see how to correctly configure the virtual switch in order to manage VLANs. We start by renaming the default port group from VM Network to Red one without adding any tag, meaning VLANID 0, then the green with tag 10, the orange with tag 20, and lastly, the blue with tag 30. Next, we can begin the import and installation of Endian Virtual using the OVF and VMDK files. From the Virtual Machine menu, select Create or Register Virtual Machine and start the wizard. In the following screen, select the second option, Deploy a Virtual Machine, then enter the name to assign it to the virtual machine, and upload the OVF and VMDK files. Again, in the next screen, select the storage location where the virtual machine will be saved, and then accept the license agreement on the next page. In the Deployment Options screen, match the VLAN zones created previously. You will then reach the Ready to Complete page, where you can finalize the creation process of the Endian Virtual Machine. Important note: at the bottom of the screen, it is possible to monitor the progress of the virtual machine creation process. Once the import has been completed, we can proceed with starting the virtual machine. By clicking on the name of the virtual machine, we can view its details and then click Power On. Next, by clicking on the black terminal window, we open the virtual machine console, where we will see the boot process. At the end of the startup process, the IP address assigned to the green network interface will be displayed. If no DHCP server is available, the default IP address is 192.168.0.15. The next phase involves accessing the web-based setup wizard and registering the virtual license on the Endian Network portal. To proceed with the wizard, we need to reach the IP address 192.168.0.15 from APC. Using the Chrome browser, connect to the web interface by entering https://192.168.0.15:10443. The browser will warn that the HTTPS certificate used for the connection is not publicly trusted. To continue, click Advanced and then select Proceed to 192.168.0.15. Select the language for the web interface, RE. In this example, English is chosen, but you may select your preferred language and accept the license agreement. At this point, in the configuration mode, we can choose how to configure the gateway. We proceed with the manual configuration mode. Setup Assistant. Enter a new password, the host name, and the domain name of the machine. Continue by selecting the time zone and the network mode. In this example, we choose Routed, which is the default configuration mode for Endian. In the following screens, select the Internet Access mode as DHCP client and assign the RAD network interface to Ethernet 2. we do not enable a backup internet connection. Assign the green zone to Ethernet 0, which is the default LAN interface, and keep the IP address set to 192.168.0.15/24 without enabling the DHCP server. For this example, we do not configure the email sending settings, as they can also be configured later. We then confirm the option to automatically associate the gateway with a switchboard for a trial period. This is an advanced feature that you can explore further by contacting your reference sales representative. The setup process is now complete. At this point, we proceed with the registration on the Endian Network portal. To complete this step, enter the username and password, normally used to access your Endian Network account. If you do not yet have an account, you will need to register a new one and enter the activation code for this virtual machine. To continue, fill in the required fields and accept the license agreements. Once the registration is completed, you will be redirected to the web login page. Log in using the default username and the password configured earlier. From the dashboard, click the menu on the left and navigate to System, arrow Endian Network, arrow Subscription to verify the license activation status. You will see that everything has been correctly registered. Finally, you can click System Updates from the left menu to check whether updates are available and, if necessary, upgrade to the latest available version. At this point, it will be possible to configure the various services and functionalities of the appliance according to your needs.